Hello, everyone. I'm June Riley, founder and CEO of VC Task Force. Thank you for joining us this morning. As you know, VC Task Force is an organization that supports the venture community by addressing issues of the day. And we have programs for investors and entrepreneurs, investors, and then we have programs for entrepreneurs. This is a program for investors and entrepreneurs, and it's called Gary's Picks. And I'm going to turn the floor over to Gary because we have this program every 2 weeks and we have another wonderful guest. So take it away, Gary.
Great to be here. Thanks, June. And thanks everybody for joining one more time, Gary's Picks. My name is Gary Fowler and I'm the host. I'm a 17-time serial entrepreneur with several unicorns under the belt. I was on the original management team at Click Software, which was sold to Salesforce for $1.35 billion. Yes, $1.35 billion. And also Eva.ai, one of the first generative AI companies, your virtual assistant. So we love artificial intelligence and quantum computing. We love companies that are going to make a difference and dominate the planet. With that, I have an incredible guest today, all the way from Poland. So we're going to talk about, Przemek Głośny is the CEO of Useme, the employer of your freelancers. Useme is the legal employer of freelancers. They've worked with incredible companies around the world, companies like Samsung, HBO, IKEA, and many more. They work with more than 50,000 employees today. So with that, Przemek, how are you doing today?
Thanks, I'm pretty fine. How about you? Actually, the name is Useme, just for the record. As you mentioned, yeah, and there is agree right now we are more focused in Europe, but we're preparing everything to go global, and we are Poland based, as you said, and the rest. And we have like more than 150,000 freelancers registered on Useme right now.
So tell me a little bit about your journey. So, you went to university, you study economics, you got your bachelor's degree in public relations and image management. Now, how in the world how did you go from that? I can see the text, the lifestyle magazine, Relaz Poland, but how did you go from that? You did a lot of content, but so was it more of a PR kind of play moving into Relaz, or what was that like?
Actually, I was in the United States for like few months back then, and I was working in a Polish newspaper in Chicago, and they asked me if I can run a lifestyle magazine in the internet, and that started from that. That cooperation finished pretty early, but then we tried to do something like that in Poland, and we cooperated with one of the biggest news magazine, O2. Then also with Samsung back then, and we were preparing some movie festival in internet. We did a lot of stuff, but I think some of those stuff was like too early back then. So I closed that lifestyle magazine like in 2007, and at the same time I was running a music club, and the music club was pretty successful. We were like in top 10 best electronic music clubs in Poland back then, but was successful from the marketing point of view, but wasn't really successful if it comes to the financial point of view. So it was closed like in 2009.
But you had a lot of fun.
I had a lot of fun, yeah. I was like, back then I turned off music in my car because I was so like surrounded with music all the time that I turned it off in my car back then. But it was a great time and a great experience. Also, all the cons of that situation, because like as I said, both businesses were closed, and that taught me a lot for my next opportunities.
So you went down through and did that, and so you went down through and Trans-EU system. So what was that all about? You were the foreign department manager. What does that mean?
It was a SaaS company for a logistic branch and transport, and it was pretty successful in Poland back then, but they wanted to go abroad, and I was responsible for teams working on marketing for foreign markets. Right now, it's second or even first, the biggest marketplace for TSL branch in Europe. So, and I learned a lot doing that, and we were like starting new markets, and that was a pretty good experience for my latest for my next next work at Useme. So it was really useful.
Now, how did you go from that to being a sales representative for SOR Poland doing bus placement? How did that go? You did about 450 buses. How do you go from being a PR guy to a bus guy?
I was studying PR. I wasn't really. I haven't really haven't been a PR specialist in my life. So that's just my education. But coming from music club and a lifestyle magazine and a TSL branch to selling buses here, it was like pretty different way of thinking. I went that music club and this lifestyle magazine. I needed to close them, and I finished with some debts back then. So I needed to find a job that I can make some money and start a new business. So I was like, buses were like a pretty good idea. That company comes from Czech Republic, and we kind of promoted that in Poland. So we moved from 0 to top 5. If it comes to Polish market, if it comes to bus manufacturer, and that was more at some of that period. I was equally working on Useme, so I was selling buses because it wasn't like I didn't take too much time. It was kind of relations I had to have with CEOs of those companies that wanted to buy those buses, and at the same time I was working on my next project, which was Useme. So from like first to after 2 years, I like worked in 2 places at the same time.
Interesting. And you listed yourself as founder, and then you list yourself as CEO. So which are you both, or did you move from being a founder to the CEO? How did that work?
I started Useme based on a European Union grant. And it was so the first company that was like administrator of that service was a company that was actually formed on my wife, and it was like so I'm a founder, and I was like an operation manager back then, but she was like the owner of the company because like it was like a sole company, so like own self-employed company, something like that, and it lasted for first 5 years, I guess. And then we moved to the limited company, and I started to be a former CEO of that company. So all the time I was a founder, and then I started to be a CEO.
Oh, I see. Okay. And so was your wife really active as a CEO of the company, or was she just passive?
She was passive, but to be honest, I didn't want to make it so obvious that I work in 2 companies at the same time. So it was easier that she was a CEO. I started to be a CEO when I dropped completely the bus manufacturing branch. So I didn't want back then to make it like so clear that I like work at the same time in 2 different companies, even though they didn't have any problems with that.
You can be like Elon Musk.
It will be difficult.
He says he loves it, So you went down through, and how did you come up with the idea of Useme in terms of, it sounds incredible that you're employer of record. That's what we call them here, right? And you work with all these but how did you find like HBO and IKEA? So here you are in Poland. Are these international contracts? Or are they Polish contracts, or how does it work?
We came up with the strict idea how we generate leads and clients to our company. So first we attract freelancers, and then make them come with their clients. So in almost we are more like a product-led growth company, and what we do, our effort, if it comes to marketing channels, it's like focused on attracting freelancers, and then freelancers come with their clients. So in every client we have right now, to the very first step, it was attracted to use me with their freelancers that they cooperate with. So at the end of the day, even though we are focused, as I said, we are focused in Europe right now, but we have clients all around the world because our freelancers from Europe cooperate with many companies all around the world. And if it comes to companies like HBO or IKEA, it's usually there are some branches for Europe, for other parts of the world. So we as it is for now, we cooperate mainly with the European branch of HBO, not the USA global branch. They have like more freelancers, but in Europe. That's what we account right now. But if it comes to other clients, that's the way we attract people. We attract freelancers and let them come with their clients, and then we focus on their clients, and we try to, with marketing automation, with contact from our sales, we try to make them our constant and permanent clients.
Got it. And so how's business? So let's talk, you got 50,000 employers. How big is your business?
Right now, we have this year, we're gonna have like, it's still on a, I would say, late seed. I mean, it depends on, like, I'm not the expert in that kind of classifications, but we have, altogether, we have 200,000 registered users, and close to 10% of them are use me at everyday basis, like every month basis. So we from both sides, hard side and easy side, because employers are our hard side of the market, freelancers are our easy side of the market. And right now we have like a revenue.
Who's on the hard side and who's on the
employers? Easy side are freelancers. Yeah.
Why is that?
It's easier and cheaper for us to get that kind of leads and attract them to bring their own clients. So of course we have a pretty effective way of attracting our hard side, but that's the way we recognize. We first, like when we started Useme, we tried to call employers and ask them and make them an offer to ask them how to use our service. And we realized that almost every company in the world could be our client, because every company in the world sometimes can have a need of hiring a freelancer, but we don't really know when it's gonna happen. So it was easier for us to attract freelancers, and when they have a contract with their employers, then we attracted them to come to us with that contract.
So tell us how it works. How does it work? So let's say you have a freelancer. How does it work?
It works pretty effective. So for example, if we want to go, when we think about going to United States, because right now we are like planning that step, then we won't go directly to United States, but we will go to states via South America and countries like all around them. If we attract specialists, experts from Mexico and South America, and they are working with clients from United States, then they're gonna bring us the clients from United States. If we get them, then we work on them and we ask them, okay, you're working with that guy from Mexico City, perhaps you have other freelancers you would like to bring to our system. And that's the way we work, and it's like very cost effective.
Are there any incentives for them to bring them over? Do you give them any percent or anything to get a network effect?
It's just like every touch of our sales team is like a cheaper price for employers. So if you say, okay, come on, bring us your other freelancers, more freelancers to bring, cheaper you pay for each one. So that's the more people they bring to us, they have like they can do it right now for that kind of professional employers. We do have some solutions like API. We can connect with via API with their system. We also we can make paying to freelancers teams as easy as one payment for everyone and just one invoice for the whole team. So more people they bring, less less cost them for one person, and altogether it's
But how does
a
it
good
work?
solution.
So what are you doing? So if a freelancer has a customer, they come to you so they can get paid. Is that what it is? Why
Yeah.
would they come to you?
Because like we one of the, I mean, it's safe. The way it works is like escrow for files. So employers can download the files with the work just after paying for that. So first reason, it's safe for freelancers. Second reason, we are kind of like a trivago for if it comes to payments. We have like a lot of partners, and we try to find the best, the fastest and the cheapest way to transfer money to their account. And the
Yeah.
fastest is like our main focus. And then the last reason, we are, as you said, employer of record, and so both sides don't need to care about the bureaucracy and contracts. Everything is under our control.
Got it. And so how do you view the business? I mean, you say you're going to go to Latin America, but how's that going to work? So you're going to have Latin Americans that work for US companies. Why would they not use Upwork, or how does it work? Because I know Upwork does some things where they can pay too. So how do you differentiate yourself from Upwork?
Upwork is a marketplace mainly. So people come there to look for a job, and if it comes to our marketplace, we have like a much smaller marketplace than Upwork, and we treat it as a freemium, and then we give it as a freemium to our users. We don't charge for our marketplace and our job post we have on our site. So that's the main difference. We are more FinTech solution rather than marketplace if it comes to like just accounting job. And at the end of the day, Useme is much faster and costly effective comparing to other platforms like Upwork.
Well, tell us why. What do you mean by effective? What does that mean?
I mean, yeah, average commission that Upwork and companies like that charge is closer to 15%, 10 to 15%, something like that. We have like fixed fee, and until like and we have a fixed fee solution, or we have like and if it comes to our commission for lower prices, it's like closer to 5%. And first of all, you have like money right on your account. It's like you don't have to wait for that. So using Upwork, this is like a typical marketplace. You need to add a job post, you need to connect with freelancers, you need to pick the right freelancers and then the freelancer, and then get the job done. We are like the last mile of that process. We believe and we know that 2/3 of your next gigs freelancers do based on their relations with clients, not on jobs they found on our internet marketplaces. So whenever they find like a client offline from referrals, it's easier for them to use services like Useme.
I love that. That's a great idea, because that's the biggest problem, right? You find somebody and then you want to make sure that there's not some strange business going on too, right?
Yeah,
And
you don't know that person in your first touch. So
yeah, because you don't know
safe
if they're going to be working or not, and who's going to take the money. Are they going to run? And you know what's going to happen. It's perfect. And what do you do? Set a contract up like Upwork and then pay against the contract, or how does it work?
We are Europe-based, so it's not easy for us to use that escrow system as you have in the United States. Like it's more complicated in Europe. But so we came up with an idea that we could be employer of record, agent of record, depends on the market. And from that point of view, we are always the one side of the contract with employers. So we issue an invoice to the employer, and we charge in upfront for the work, but we don't pay it out to the freelancers. When the work is transferred to the freelancer, then employer need to accept it. If the work is accepted, then the money is free to the freelancer. So both sides.
It's kind of like escrow in a way, right? Because you're accepting.
Yeah.
and you've already got a contract against is it done against the contract? So once they accept against the contract, is that the way it works?
I don't know what do you mean against contract.
So if you have a 10,000, let's just say you need 100 hours of work done, right? And
Mhm.
somebody says, I'll do the work. Do you pay them like every 5 hours? And you would pay them, so, so you got 100 hours, you pay them every 10 hours, they submit a bill against the 100 hours, or how does it work?
It depends how the contract is formed. It's if you like to get paid like every 10 hours, you can like divide the contract into milestones and you get paid for every milestone.
I got
If
it.
you want to have it like the full contract, and that's the main contracts we have, like to prepare some web page, to do some graphic designs, to do some translation. It's like a kind of one-offs. So usually people get paid for the whole job done. When they do the translation, they send it via Useme. An employer cannot download the file before paying for that. So when employer pays for that, they
Oh,
can
that's
check.
great.
And then
But
freelancer is safe on the
how do
other
you
hand.
know you're going to get what you asked for? What happens if there's somebody says, oh, I need this marketing plan done, and it comes back and it's like 1 page and it's not? How do you guarantee that it's what it's supposed to be? How does that work?
We do it like we use social network effects. We actually, there are like just 0.1% of jobs that we actually do something about, and try to solve the conflict between two sides. Like in more than 90%, more than 97%, there isn't any. People pick someone wherever they want. They can find it on Upwork, they can find it on other marketplaces, they can find themselves offline, and they usually most of the situations they know what they need, and they find someone who they have like referred to, so they expect like a good job, and it works. But sometimes, of course, if the situation is like you get something, you want it to have like a long article, and you get like a short one, and that's not something, you just don't accept the work. And if in the description between the work,
how do you get to look at it before you accept it? How do you know? Is there a way?
Employers do that. The employers do that. The clients of them, they do that. They do accept it or not. So if they don't accept it, freelancers have like other chances to.
So what does accept mean? They can download it?
Yeah, they can now download it, check it, and say, okay.
They can view it, but they just can't download it.
No, that right now. They can download the full work, but if it's done, according to the contract, and they say we don't accept it, but it was done exactly according to the contract, then the money is free to the freelancer. So the freelancer is safe. It's not like a.
But how would you know? Because they could say, "Oh, it's not." I'm just curious because I thought about this stuff. What happens if it's like, "Oh, it's not what I want," but they actually get something? Who verifies it? Who double checks to make sure that it is what it's supposed to be?
It's our administration, but as I said, it's just like 0.1 to 0.2 situation like that we have to deal anything around it. But if we do, then we don't check if it's we don't recognize if it's a good job or a great job. We just recognize if it's done exactly by the description. So if someone says, I'm going to prepare the text and it's going to be 2,000 words, then we check if the words, the text is kind of logic and this 2,000 words, and we don't get into if it's good or not. It's like you can, it was done. You chose someone. You could check their opinions, referrals, if it's a good freelancer or not.
Yeah.
Okay, someone you don't like it, but it's not our job to make it. Next time you give like a bad opinion, whatever. But okay, and we also provide the information. If you feel that you get something completely, you don't agree with our acceptance of the job, then we can send you all the information and prepare you to I don't know, sue the freelancer because like of your losses.
I got it. Interesting. No, it sounds like you got an incredible company, and what a amazing opportunity worldwide, because there's remote work is happening. It's all over the world. I know we went to Nigeria Ghana, Zambia. There's incredible developers all over the place that can do things, but you're right, they need a way to be able to pay. And so
Yeah, that's Africa and South America are our directions, because like we know that these are the countries, these are the regions where next freelancers will come from, and it's not so crowded if it comes to marketplaces comparing to Asia, because like all the freelancers come, Upwork and all of the companies are like, all of them are like all around in the countries from like China, Vietnam, Thailand, but Africa and South America. And sometimes some of these countries are pretty difficult to pay out the money to the freelancers. So we help people to make it easier and to make it work.
No, that's fantastic. Well, listen, I thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us. And I thank all the audience for Gary's Picks for joining us one more time. My name is Gary Fowler, and I'm the CEO and founder of GSD, Get Shit Done Venture Studios, a premier AI and quantum venture studio located in Silicon Valley. To each and every one of you out there, stay happy, stay safe, and stay healthy. And we'll be back to you again in 2 weeks for another exciting version of Gary's Picks. Thank you very much. Thanks, June. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thanks for
both.
having me. Bye-bye.
Gary, see you in 2 weeks.
See you. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.